tough to find silver linings with this injury with Trey. But what I wanted to ask you about is what's it take for the locker room to move on from Jimmy, right? Like at some point,
Yeah.
you like when Trey gets hurt in Seattle, you see all these people. It's like it's almost like we're celebrating after Trey's injury. And at the game, I see Trey hurt, and it was tough to see. But I'm trying to find silver linings, and I'm thinking, what would it take for this locker room to move on from Jimmy this year onto
Yeah.
Trey more naturally? And I just don't understand what that's going to take.
Well, losing, because I think the thing with Jimmy is no matter how mediocre his play is or his numbers are, the people like people on the team can say, "Hey, I don't care. We win with Jimmy. I like winning. Let's keep Jimmy." But we've seen this slow decline and fade of Jimmy, where
Right.
he's becoming like, Jared Goff or whatever. And I think, what is he like 3-3 in his last 6 starts? Once the whole winning thing goes away, I think the Niners will have no choice but to embrace the unknown
Well, I
because
think
with Jimmy, he's just mediocre at this point.
right. I think the offense just hasn't been the same since really Tennessee, because what you get is you get these teams who will run a 3-4, 4-3 base, stack the box with like 9 or 8 or 9 in the box, and they don't feel the need to really respect the deep ball. Because I watched some of the film post game after the Denver game, and what you see is safeties and corners blatantly blowing off the deep ball and overplaying the one route that I think Jimmy always throws, which is that crosser. Um, but as for Monday, I really, really hope they get Jordan Mason involved, because I think that I don't know that Jeff Wilson is that guy. I have Jeff Wilson on my fantasy team, love Jeff Wilson, but I also have Jordan Mason on my bench, so I would love to see Jordan Mason have a good game at some point. Um, and I would love to see them get Danny Gray involved, because I feel like there's an element of speed that's just missing with Mostert gone. I watched
Yeah.
Mostert in Miami Monday night, and it just seems like that's what's not there. I mean, we paid more dead money to Nate Sudfeld than we did to keep around. What would it would have cost to keep around Raheem Mostert, in my opinion?
Yeah.
Uh, and I don't think that's talked about enough.
Yeah, agree. This offense has become kind of slow. It's interesting. Mike McDaniel went to Miami and added all that speed, and the Niners are getting slower by the year. I mean, like, where's their home run threat? It's Debo. Well, he hasn't shown it yet. And if it's not Debo,
Yeah.
it's got to be Danny Gray. Oh, what happened to Ray McLeod too? Like, that guy does nothing. Very strange.
Yeah, no, we see Ray Ray, and it feels more like he's been relegated to special teams, and that's great. He can be a kick returner, but during the preseason, you saw him flashing out of the slot. You saw him playing all these different places, and now all of a sudden, all that's gone. It's just the same 2 or 3. It's relatively unoriginal on offense. Um, but as for Denver, I saw like a lot of the fans want to say, "Yo, fire Kyle," and Kyle's not calling a great game. And I agree, because I'm one of the people who thinks that Kyle has some blame for Trey's injury, right? I think that the usage wasn't there, but when you go back and look at the film, you see that Jimmy just misses a lot of opportunities that we don't see in the broadcast angle. But if you watch the game afterwards and you look back, like there were throws where Debo's streaking down the sideline and Jimmy's looking underneath, or most quarterbacks pre-snap will line up and at least take a look around, and you'll see that a lot of times there were Bronco linebackers lined up on Ayuk in the slot or lined up against somebody else in the slot. And rather than
Yeah,
call that out and say, okay, I got to throw there, it felt we were
yeah,
it was more predetermined pre-snap reads. And
yeah.
George Kittle is non-existent as my jersey.
Yeah,
Uh,
like this is people keep saying like Jimmy keeps saying he wants freedom, to go where he wants to go in the play, and then he just follows Kyle's instructions and says your plays suck after, he just throws to the first read. I mean, dude, you're the quarterback. You've been on the team a very long time. You're in your 30s. If you don't like the play call your own play. If you don't want to go to the number one, go wherever you use the freedom you want. I hate this excuse. Like, quarterbacks in my day when I was a kid actually had some agency on the field. Jimmy's like, I want some agency. All right, do what you want to do. I mean, they already
yeah.
replaced you. You're not here next year. Like, do whatever you want to do on the field. If you think you know a better way of playing quarterback than what Kyle's telling you to do it and prove him wrong. But frankly, I don't think he does, man. I think it's all bluster. You
Well, I
know?
think part of that is pre-snap reads too, right? If you want freedom, freedom occurs in the pre-snap. So you can audible, you have full autonomy to do that. You can call out mismatches that you see with Ayuk and
Yeah.
linebackers, or with different reads that you have on the field. But I'm hoping that he puts it together. The Rams seem to be the year or the game every year that something rolls right. But I appreciate you having me on. Also appreciate you asking those tough questions in the presser
Thanks,
yesterday.
Jay.
That was good
I
to see.
appreciate it, man.